Hey, we're doing some testing for the audio. Bear with me. Alrighty then. Just want to make sure all of that was going. My usual secondary device is down at the moment. So, for chat, which I'm going to do a test real quick. Boom, chat's right there. That way I can see the chat using my phone. Anyway, oh. Hey guys, Dante here, and welcome back to my channel, The Burgos Art, and welcome back to another Sunday night art stream. It has been quite some time, about a month, according to the last update I have on my screen here. And even then, I wasn't really being as active weekly. A lot has happened. October, you're entering the holiday seasons of what some people don't really care about Halloween, but in general, like November is creeping up, December is creeping up. And I've been quite busy this past month, taking care of the family stuff, taking care of business stuff, you name it. Excuse me. Where's my coaster? I have to use this for now. Anywho, so happy to be back behind the drawing table because I have been doing a lot of projects. I'm always active on art. If anyone follows me over on Instagram, you'll notice a lot of the works in progress I put up there. Twitter, I comment once in a while. I haven't been really commenting that much on Twitter. DeviantArt, I haven't updated in a while. But I've been active on Instagram because of works in progress. I have like several projects going on as we speak. Right now, I am rebuilding part of my cosplay from last year because I'm going to be going to New York Comic Con. I got myself a 4-day pass. And of course, the 1 year I get the 4-day pass, it turns out that Critical Role won't be at New York Comic Con this year. Like, they're going crazy with the advertising for the 3rd season of Vox Machina. They were in New York for Anime Fest, but they're not here for New York Comic Con. I'm like, great. The one time I get the 4-day ticket, and last year I missed the autograph day because I didn't get the 4-day ticket. C'est la vie. There's a lot of panels that aren't really catching my attention, so I'm gonna go back to the website, check out the panels, and just try and find like what's really going on. There's not much really catches my view. However, there are a lot of cool people who are gonna be there, like the entire cast of Futurama, the voice actors of Futurama, voice actors for was it Baldur's Gate? I think like there's gonna be a lot of groups there doing autographs and stuff. But in terms of like scheduled like premieres or shows, nothing's popping out to me, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, I'm redoing my I'm redoing part of my cosplay. For those of you who remember, I was the Statue of Tyranny from Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which just either announced or just dropped another DLC. There's like 2 different DLCs for that game. It's a fun game in general. Check it out if you can. Buy it on Steam. I've been doing that. I've been preparing a few I've been trying to get some new products working because I'll be doing Big Apple Comic Con's like holiday winter shop. That'll be in November. Hey intern, that'll be in November. So check out for that. I'll be selling my wares and hopefully some new stuff. Lots of video game oriented stuff, some tabletop oriented stuff, and a few drawings as well. And I've also just been doing like small individual stuff. So I have like my main projects, which is my time-based projects, which is the cosplay, my financial projects, which is stuff for the table I'm gonna be selling stuff at in November, and then just like little personal things, like last stream's One-On Bandit. That was was that the last stream? Was One-On Bandit the last stream? I'm not too sure. I think it was. That's me working on sprites, and I have a fellow artist, a friend of mine, who is eager to try some of the music because he does like 8-bit kind of like old Nintendo, Super Nintendo style music. So I gave him some ideas and he's gonna just fiddle with that, see what comes up. So keep an eye out for that. What am I drawing today? I don't know what I'm drawing today. We're just gonna be drawing. I have a little bit of a new setup too. My you can't see it, but my drawing table is like leaned up a bit more, so I'm trying like a different angle, so I'm not like as hunched over as I usually am. What to draw? What to draw? What are we drawing today? Don't know yet. We could just go with the general, like, oh, that's the wrong tool. We could go with our basic pen tool. There we go. You know, our basic draw shape, see what comes out of it. Or we could do some ideas. I have ideas. It is the season for spookiness. I should be doing spooky stuff, but I've been doing so many different projects. My mind is everywhere, and it's not really in the spooky vein at the moment. That was interesting. Oh yeah, my color filter's up. Let me turn that off. Just for now. There we go. Well, the music sounds bubbly. We could do some bottled spirit stuff. Yeah. Let me think. Bottled spirits. I think what bottled spirits is either I do a spooky ghost, right? Or, and the spooky ghost monster stuff could be anything really. I could just go gruesome with it. Or I could be really methodical and try to do a ghost in a bottle. Ghost in a jar, if you would. Methodical meaning just have to be really careful with all my line work. That's annoying. Let's see. Let's do spooky, right? Let's add to the bunch of ghosts and goblins and ghouls. By the way, speaking of which, myself and Kratorius Rex went to go see Beetlejuice. I have to aim it a little low. Like, I want to say 7 out of 10, but that's because as much as I want to give it such a higher score, the visuals are great, the costume design, the creature design, it feels like a Beetlejuice movie in the way it looks. I feel the writers were trying to do too much in the film. Like, it's a movie that I would have loved seeing as a miniseries because it had like 5 different plot points going at once. But because of that, it was kind of hard to say, hey, who's the main character? Who are we following through this? Is it Lydia? Is it her daughter, Astrid? I would have loved it if they focused like on Astrid more than Lydia. But they bounced around so much in the storyline. Like, I wanted to enjoy it way more than I could have. It just, something about it kind of felt a little flat, just a little flat with me. So 7.5 out of 10, 7.5. But if you're a Beetlejuice fan in general, check it out. It is a fun film. I just wanted a bit more, it needed more structure. Like, that script needed a few more run-throughs. There we go. Oh, you know what we're going to do? I know what we're going to do. So Rex and I have this idea. Well, it was Rex's idea. It was Katorius Rex's idea. And it was like, I guess best way to put it, monster is made out of pumpkins, right? He had this whole kind of idea of like he had an idea regarding like something viral, like a plant, like some kind of like how I put it, like not eldritch, that's the wrong term. Oh, what's the word? Celtic, like something ancient, you know, from the old days, the Fey world kind of days. Like a seed, and it's a pumpkin seed, and it grows and infects other creatures. And he started drawing like a pumpkin wolf, like a pumpkin werewolf. And so he did some sketches, and I have a concept, and I have an idea how I want the pumpkin to look as well. It's kind of like pumpkin werewolf thing. The sketch he sent me, his seems a bit more like it's the actual pumpkins taking the shape. Mine is more like they've exploded. And that's kind of the idea I have here. So I just need to get it out of my head. And like see just I need to get it out of my head. I have this visual in my head, but it's a concept. It's not solid. Because it's not solid, I'm having trouble with it. Like I need to get it out of my head and on paper in some way or form. Because spoiler alert, he was going to actually make some of these. Or he was going to like make these and some cute little bats out of foam pumpkins, but the store he ordered from screwed up and sent him these tiny pumpkins instead. It was like this isn't what I ordered. They're like, oh, we're so sorry, we'll send you the big ones. Hopefully he'll get them in time, but in time for the season. But even then, like it's just the idea of like pumpkin bats, like I don't know, I really like it. So I want to see, you know, what comes from it. So I'm imagining, like the main top is the outer pumpkin. Then everything breaking out from the bottom is kind of the filling, if that makes sense. Always forget, the tiny canines are on the outside, not the inside. Not that I'm being perfect with the anatomy anyway. Okay, so something like this. And all of this are the pumpkin, like, gooey gut pieces that come down. So it's like shattered pumpkin, and then from inside, it comes, the wolf face comes out of it. That's kind of the idea I'm going with here. Then I don't know if I want to actually have that in the back, but vines. I am thinking vines for like the mane. So imagine if this was a costume. If it was a costume, right? I was thinking, oh, that's kind of big. I was thinking. There we go. Like big, round, and broken up. Pumpkins, like the arms are bursting out of like the shoulder pumpkins. part of me was thinking, vines, interwoven vines for the actual arms. Oh, chat popped in. Who we have here? Yo, man, good to have you. Just talking about you. Thanks, dude. Talking smack about you. But yeah, so I'm thinking like, the arms would be vines, almost kind of like a scarecrow in a way, but meatier, not just a stick. The vines of like more heavy wood vine, but the main is the actual like green vine you get from pumpkins. Maybe put some big leaf on it, like much more like lively and leaf. I was thinking the chest also is like made of floating pumpkin chunks. So like the actual like, how would you call it? The ribbing of a pumpkin is kind of the faux shape of the chest, like this. And then you can have a little bit of vine on the front with the flowers and everything. Just using floating pumpkin pieces for the abs. It's kind of something like that. Yeah, exactly. The ridges for the chest. Yeah. I don't know when you jumped into the conversation, dude, but I was saying, I was just saying a minute ago, like, yours seems to be more like the pumpkins are taking the shape of the creatures. Mine, I'm kind of aiming for more like it's bursting out of it, or like some, so like it's like really gooey. And I did think about it more like as a costume, which is like more of the upper body. I have no idea how I would do the lower body aside from just a guy in werewolf. You know, the blue jeans. Let me know how the audio's coming in. Let me know if the background music's too loud, if I'm coming in clearly. So at my job, they had these 3 artists come in. This is for like the public to check out, but I took time to like walk away from my my weekend duty to actually see what was going on. And it was 3 artists who were pumpkin carvers. I don't just mean pumpkin carvers like they carve all the way through and make funny faces. More like they carve on the outside the pumpkin. Like none of them actually carved all the way through the pumpkin. And they were like having like a little mini competition at my job. It was nice. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I didn't want to give away your entire plot, of course, but how like yeah these The way you described it makes me think of like, it's some kind of old Celtic curse from like the old world, the old days, And I know someone's gonna be like, oh, actually, and where Halloween came from, they didn't use pumpkins. They use. I know. We know. Still. Trying to be a little cleaner with my lines. I mean, it looked canine. I mean, doing a werewolf, you're doing a wolf or a wolf-like creature. It came off as canine. Let me back up a bit. Yeah, I'm liking that so far. With the top lip, just kind of like, because it just kind of being like the goo itself, and then the bottom jaw is also the same way. So at my job, for those of you, you know, just a little insight, I actually took some photographs of like someone broke like a pumpkin at my job, and we put it into the what we call the green zone, which is just the compost area at my job. And picked it up and took some nice photographs of it, like for like reference. What I love about the reference I took, so you had all the individual strands of the pumpkin guts, and then hanging from them like almost like bats, with just a bunch of like seeds, like perfectly hanging from the very tips of each string, like little puppets, if you would. So yeah, we're not going too crazy with the details on this, but that's not what I wanted. Whoop. Um, but yeah, but just like putting like little pumpkin seeds, like I'm doing right here. These little dots are meant to be pumpkin seeds. This is like a sketch concept, you know. Okay, let's. So the carvers that were the pumpkin carvers that were at my job, they did this cool thing where they won't just use one pumpkin; they would use like multiple pieces. So one guy did the Alice in Wonderland rabbit, and then used big chunks from two of the pumpkins and stuck them in and gave him the big curving uh, um, ears, which is kind of the concept I want to aim for here. Bit big, isn't it? Yeah, wolf ears. I mean, you know, people love making wolf ears look really narrow and slick, but you know, that's what you get when a human cuts a dog's ear short. Like an actual like dog's ear, even a wolf ears, kind of they have big ears. Just want to get a good shape. I'm happy with. Yeah, around that. That's a good size. So I'm thinking, like the whole head is about that. Yeah, that's where the head is. And then I could probably, and then that way I could figure out like where I want the neck to be. There we go. I'm using a different layer at the moment, just to kind of work out some of these other details. That's a top one, that's a top one. Let me get rid of this at the moment. Okay, lock that. We're just fiddling with some vine details right now. Someone's trying to call me. Stand by, guys. Boop. Just adding tons and tons of coil. You know what, guys? Give me a moment. Getting messages from the family. I want to make sure everything's okay. So we're going to take a minute, guys. There we go. All right, good news. All is well. It wasn't an emergency. Just something my family wanted to get in contact with me about. So everything's good there. On a side note, I will be having a guest over. A friend of mine goes by the name Orc. Rather, he goes by the name Orc Punch. Some of you might have seen him in the chat in previous videos. He's gonna call me about a minute or two, and he's gonna come up. We'll turn the camera off, and he's gonna just chill out, and we're gonna talk as I draw. For now, I'm gonna do a little bit more sketching. So he's gonna call me back in like a minute or two. But where were we? Yeah, I was thinking like, do I want to do the pumpkin seeds like in the eye, or should I just have it scattered around him just to give it more of that messy look? I'm kind of on the fence about it. I also want to do a few details in the vines regarding like pumpkin leaves, which are actually big and broad. The flowers for pumpkins are actually really pretty. They're like yellow flowers. Let's do a little bit of like, let's have the hair be like, once again, just the pumpkin vines, and put some seeds in there too, which would be a much more visually present when we start coloring stuff. Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Just got bombarded with like 3 messages at once from family and friends. Just trying to figure out like the shape. There we go. So his maw, if that's the right word, this is all goo, but like near the back of the head it's all like pumpkin. Kind of make it up as I go along, but I'm enjoying the shape. I'm enjoying the way it looks so far. Might go back into this and really define like parts of it. Part of me wants to go back and pull out my old, like, I say skills, but like my old Photoshop skills, and I wonder if I could like Photoshop a lot of the some nice photos of pumpkins like together. Freaking AI be damned. Like actually like Photoshop some pumpkin images and see how it all comes out. Yeah, if I was to buy some foam pumpkins, like the hollow foam pumpkins, I wouldn't mind like trying making this. So rather than sculpting it from scratch, actually, this you can either sculpt it from scratch or use the foam pumpkins. I'm thinking of like taking a bunch of foam pumpkins, cutting them up, and using them. So it'll be a mixture of like scratch built plus original sculpture built. Yeah, everything's good, man. Everything's good. I was just family from abroad was contacting me, so I wanted to make sure everything was okay. They were just thinking about me. They were thinking about the work I do. In fact, they were thinking about the artwork I do. It's nice that it. We are lucky because we have family members who like supported us in our artwork. You always hear a lot of people whose like family didn't support them in anything. So like, you and myself, Rex, like, we're lucky. We're lucky in that vein. We have to always remember that. As annoying as it might be, sometimes to deal with family members could have been worse. So my sister was just thinking about me about like, you gotta promote yourself. You gotta find ways to do this, find ways to do that, and it's all true. It's all very true. It's just like, making a brand is hard. Making a product to sell that you're proud of, that you can also mass produce. Like, it's all tricky stuff. Not really the look I'm wanted. I'm just kind of right now just I wanted more like tight, like wound, like this. This isn't pumpkin vine. This is hardwood vine. Freaking climbing up the tree, choking the heck out of the tree, heavy wood vine. But it's not really the way I imagine it right now. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. I think I'm having issues with the general like silhouette of it. So Rex, tell me if you heard about this show. I was just on YouTube, and every so often you find like a show that never really got like a DVD release or whatever, and it will end up on YouTube. People will like upload episodes, as many episodes as they can of it. That's kind of how I found myself watching the old Captain Simeon and the Space Monkeys. And there was a show that, and it's like it is definitely 90s in terms, not like extreme, but like more of like the way shows are drawn in the 90s. There's like a certain look to them that's not as exaggerated sometimes, with the exception of like, let's say the Aladdin series. Like the Aladdin series, like that had a bit more of a push and pull to the way the characters were drawn, but more like gargoyles, a little bit more X-Men, like between there. And it was and I vaguely remember this show, and it was a show about Roswell. It was an animated show about the secrets of Roswell, aliens, myths, and other creature things like that, and like the organizations that like look into and keep the secrets of these things. It's kind of like if the X-Files were just upfront about it and just like, no, we are the government who watches over all these weird creatures. Um, and I just caught like I was just watching a clip of it like today earlier, and it's weird because it has like banshees and how like banshees are actually aliens, they're not like folklore, and how they're like one of the top like rivals of this organization. So the main character has like his main character is a guy who, of course, his dad was either abducted by aliens or switched by aliens. And he doesn't know. He's trying to find out the truth. And like his second, like the main female lead is a woman who I think is a banshee or half banshee, like she's half something, or she is a banshee but doesn't seem to have the same powers as her sisters. And it caught my attention because the art style kind of reminds me of like a little bit of like Gargoyles, where the characters are meant to look a bit more realistic, not as cartoony or overly designed. And it looks like a show that might have been based on a comic book or something because it has like a bit more of a serious premise to it, not as extravagant or crazy as like Secret Saturdays, where they were going through adventures and they had kid sidekick. No, the main character is like a dude, like a middle-aged dude. I don't know if you ever heard about it. It's Roswell. I don't know if it's called Roswell Secrets or Roswell Legends and Creatures, but the main thing is called Roswell. Area 51, like Area 51 Roswell. And let me know if you ever heard about it. Let me know if anyone in the comments, when this thing goes up on YouTube later on, let me know if you guys heard about it. With that being said, let's do a quick save at this moment. So we're getting the general. You get the general gist of what I'm aiming for here. I'm still not too happy with the way the arm looks, but once again, we're making up as we go along. I have the idea vaguely floating in my head of like what I want to aim for, so all the details are just kind of coming out as we go. That was a hiccup. Save as. So we're going to save this into our folder of stream stuff, which I haven't saved stuff in a while. Stream art, we're going to call this. Pumpkin Wolf. This is Pumpkin Wolf. My hands are not steady today. Sometimes I have days where they're super steady and I could do my digital drawing just fine. And other days it's like, rah. So I'm thinking the waistline is all vine work with just a few pieces of pumpkins floating on top. The chest is more solid though. Applying to a buddy, and I've done something I haven't done since freaking high school, which is like when you abbreviate your text. Remember the old days, guys? When we used to abbreviate our texts. Like we write down R for R and U for U, because we couldn't be bothered to type it all in our old phones. You remember those days, don't you guys? I guess like underneath his rib cage, we're gonna add more of that pumpkin goo. Just all the little individual strands are just hanging downward. Once again, not the most detailed on how we're doing it right now. I'm gonna just drop some black in here to blacken out some areas. Should do it. Yeah, it kind of gives it like that hollow look almost. I like that. Just want to block out the waistline a bit. Got that tiny waistline, but we're gonna fix. Yeah, we can always fix that. Got like 5 different textures coming in at once, people. What is going on? Let's do some correction here. What the hell's going on? Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That's why. Deselect that. Always make sure you're on the right layer, people. Boom. There we go. We could get back in there and do some line correction. Now it's all disjointed and kind of goofy looking. Even more goofy than usual. Okay, we got the general idea going on here. That's him. I'll be downstairs in a minute. That's our special guest for the day. Make him wait 1 minute as I erase this, because I told him to text me. He didn't. And I'm upset now. Gravely upset. Do. All right. Deselect. All right, file save. We are going to pause once again. Sorry about that. Sorry for the pausing. Be right back. All right, we're back. Oh, you good? Yeah. Hey guys, we're back. Sorry for the delay. You can sit down here, man, if you want. On now you're comfortable?
I'm paranoid. Put something in front of the camera.
Oh yeah, then pass me it up. All right, dude. Boom. Boom. There you go. That's my There you go. I got my friend Orc Punch here. Good friend of mine. He just came back from a long day of work. And we fight goblins. That's all I have to say about it. No correction. We take care of goblins, I believe. You babysit goblins. But yeah, he's here to join us. So no face cam at the moment. And just to catch him up to speed. So I'm doing this drawing based on an idea that that Rex had, Joe. He was like, what if, like, long story short, what if, like, pumpkins infected creatures and start taking the shapes of them? And, you know, he has his style of how he's approaching it. I have my style of approaching it. So I'm designing, like, a werewolf pumpkin. I'm going more in the vein of, like, it's, like, exploded from within the pumpkin. So you have, like, the pumpkin goo, vines, you know.
So is it that the pumpkin took over a werewolf, or that it took over a wolf?
Well, originally the idea was just like, wouldn't it be cool if, you know, if we just made pumpkin monsters? That was like the vagueness of it. I was doing a pumpkin monster, and I was like, yo, wouldn't it be cool if it was like a pumpkin werewolf with like big pumpkin for shoulders and like all the visceral around the lip is like the pumpkin guts.
It's just kind of funny to imagine like a pumpkin becoming the apex over a werewolf.
What was it, Charlie Brown? What's it called? The Great Pumpkin.
Just like a fucking werewolf, like fucking top tier here. Just gets fucking punked out by a pumpkin.
But yeah, so it kind of started as just a general like monster pumpkins. But you know Rex, Joe, you know I use both names. Joe loves putting lore and more lore and so much lore that it chokes you. So he was like, so he went more the route of like a kind of like cursed pumpkin seed, if you would, like a Celtic curse, if it would, that like attaches to creatures and basically takes their consumes them and takes their form. So he's sort of doing hounds, like just hounds in general. But hey, why not make it a more like humanoid hound? Why not make it a werewolf? Mm-hmm. So he's sort of doing. He sent me some sketches, and I've had this idea in my head. The only real concepts I had in my head were like, the pumpkins are the shoulders, and the arms are bursting out of the pumpkins, and the face looks like pumpkin, like the main brow or like the outside of the pumpkin, while the under part, which is where the lips and the jaw is at, is like more of the pumpkin visceral taking the shape. Mm-hmm. Then, you know, adding vines, adding chunks, and I'm just kind of like general concept. I'm just kind of developing as I go. Mm. And you know, I know you like werewolves, so
I do. I love them.
I love them so much. So how's the day? How were the goblins today? Any fun stories?
No.
No?
All I did was jam my finger in a door.
I love how I'm trying so hard to keep it like in the vein of like, this is my friend Orc, the Great Orc Punch. he takes care of goblins, and just I jammed my finger in the door today.
No, I
the dungeon's mean.
You know, like I've broken up some pretty fucking severe dog fights.
Yeah.
I've thrown a Rottweiler. I've thrown a pit bull. I've thrown all kinds of dogs.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't get the joke of making the goblins are just dogs he watches over.
There's Bobby.
Hey Bobby, where? Hey Bobby. Nothing much. I'm doing quite well.
What's up, Bobby?
I got the orc with me today.
There was this fucking joke that Bobby made that was so goddamn funny that it still fucking gets me. Like I think I might have told you like D was talking about like long story short her dad like kind of like rushed into, I think it was a Walmart or a Target, something along those lines. And she was saying he had parachute pants.
Okay.
And fucking and I told Dee when she was telling the story, I was like,
give me a second. Are we okay, the stream froze up for a minute. Sorry about that. Yeah, as you're saying. Kmart. Yeah, he's okay.
Kmart.
Yeah, everyone's following us. Kmart. Okay, good.
So, and I was like, she said he had parachute pants on. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't fuck with anybody wearing parachute pants.
Okay.
And then fucking Bobby was like, yeah, because you can't touch this.
Yes, you've told me this one. You have told me this one.
I fucking lose it every time I think about that shit. Because Bobby was like fucking fast about it, man. Holy shit.
Oh, man. Your freaking food smells good, man. I know it.
You want a bite?
No, I'm good. I got stuff in the fridge I'm going to have later. But it smells good, even though I know it's horrible for you.
I smoke cigarettes, dude.
In fact, freaking orc opens up the burrito. There's like a cigarette in the burrito.
No, at the end of it, I just light it. I just smoke the fucking 7-layer burrito.
Wasn't that like a thing in freaking King of the Hill? When is it Dale? Dale stops smoking, but he tries to like.
He wraps up.
He sucks it out the freaking.
No. Dude, I was thinking about that like 2 days ago.
Okay.
It was like such a good Dale moment and Boomhauer moment. Because Dale tries to fucking quit smoking, so he rolls up a bunch of tobacco in a fucking newspaper, this like long tube, and he's trying to suck it. And finally, Boomhauer gets upset, and he just lights the end of it, and turns it into a giant cigarette.
It's like a massive cigarette. Yeah. Freaking Dale's such an idiot, man. It's like I tuned it in the other day, and it was like because freaking Adult Swim does nothing but American Dad, freaking Family Guy.
I like American Dad.
Yeah. American Dad. I get tired of American Dad. I'd rather watch King of the Hill.
Cigarettes smells like cig of weed. What? I don't understand the reference, Bobby. Is that like a Chicago thing?
Chicago.
Is Chicago the Windy City?
I want to say yes. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Like, is there actually a lot of wind in there, Bobby?
Sounds like a setup for a joke.
No, it's not. Like, generally, like, is Chicago windy?
Google, is Chicago windy?
Tell me, you bitch.
I heard you want to shop Wendy's. God damn it, Google! I was watching,
I wonder if you could set up, like, your Google to like, drop, like, stuff that makes you look baller. You know what I mean?
What do you mean drop stuff? Makes you look baller?
Like, just out of nowhere, like, you have, like, the Alexa voice pop on, and it's like, I have reordered your Magnum condoms.
There's an app for that. There's an app for everything.
And it's like, oh, excuse me, sorry, I have to
take this.
I have to make sure that order goes through.
Isn't that a skit from It's Always Sunny?
Yeah, because it's like to try to like oh, it is the Windy City.
Yeah. Like I never seen the show. I've always seen clips of it, and like the clips freaking kill me, and I'm like, I gotta watch this freaking show.
He said mainly just a bad nickname. But why do they call it Windy City?
Did it? Maybe like freaking 100 years ago when it was first built, got hit by a hurricane, and they're like, oh, this is the name now.
There was probably some asshole mayor that had way too much power, and he was probably like, God damn, this is windy. This is the Windy City.
Or like, New York has a name. We gotta make a name for ourselves too. It's like, so, well, we have like a river that goes through us. National animals. Call it Windy. Just call it Windy.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's right. I could hear fucking... I can hear Chris Tucker's voice saying that. If that makes sense.
What?
Do you know what I mean? Like, sing a wee or something like that.
I gotta check that, man. Check your sources. You get the idea. This is not meant to be a complete piece of artwork. As I mentioned earlier, this is like me just throwing the ideas that get them out of my head. Because they've been in my head bouncing around for like the longest time. And if I don't get it on paper at some point, I'm gonna freaking lose it. I'm like, no, I just gotta draw it and then always come back. I can always come back to it later for like the actual fine detailing clean up, you know?
It looks like he's politely declining something in Spanish. Like, no mas.
No mas.
No mas. Por favor, no mas.
I gotta show you some of the stuff Ray has been doing. Once again, to anyone who might see this in the future or even now, like Bobby, Ray is an individual I've been doing some film projects with lately. His ideas, like his basic ideas combined with like sketches he does, sketches I do, and then props. I'm doing a lot of the prop work for him. So he's a mastermind behind the story at the moment. I'm doing the prop work, and he has been getting back into drawing like more of his love of like D&D and fantasy and like wizards who point a finger at you and skulls fly out of it, which was literally like the last drawing he did, and it is coming along very well. Like his artwork has always been really striking and like haunting with like the way he draws like creepy faces, but like in terms of like clean lines, like he's been doing very well, and he's been getting into like, dude, like I said, it's just, he just did a picture of like a guy with a bent finger, the typical Ren, you know, the Ren and Stimpy finger, like the way Ren does that giant finger is bent. It's just he's doing that, and like freaking smoke skulls are flying out of it. So yeah, so I'll show, with his permission, I'll show it at some point. But I do want to do some more artwork with him because he has a great skill, and he's getting back into it to kind of like get the juices flowing. Nah, that sounds like that's a freaking Joe joke right there. You read that last reply he wrote?
Alright. The politicians were full of hot air, so. But yeah, like that's like every state. Were they just so
like,
full of shit?
It may be true, but. God, what was that watch? You mentioned so full of shit. You know, can you remember this old?
Can I use this here?
Yeah, go from there.
It's great.
Okay.
I'm just saying your room's gonna smell like great.
Better than anything else, man. There was an old plot line in South Park. I forgot what it was. A subplot that at the very end met with the main plot, and the subplot was that people were eating their food backwards.
Yeah.
So they were basically.
Yeah, they were basically like talking shit.
Yeah, they were shooting shit. But I forgot what the main plot was. Because they're doing the main plot while they're talking. During the main plot, like, Stan's dad is watching TV as the guy says, it's like everyone's just talking shit. And he goes, what? As he's like doing it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've seen that joke somewhere else too regarding like politicians. Like there's a hole full of hot air or whatever. But I'm sure I can't place it. Like I remember seeing a joke similar to that, where like, the politicians begin choking on their own like diarrhea or something. It's like a medical emergency. That's of course. What's wrong? This politician's choking on diarrhea. It means he's vomiting? No, he's choking on diarrhea. It's definitely diarrhea, not vomit. We checked. It was like this weird like skit. Oh yeah. So I already said it a few times earlier. It's a pumpkin werewolf. It's like if a werewolf if a werewolf exploded. No, if a pumpkin exploded, and it's like vines. Like the hair is more the green vine you see on pumpkins. The arms are more like woody vines, and like the main musculature looks kind of like more like a skeleton. I get what this reminds me of now. I'm looking at it. It's kind of like the Bram Stoker's Dracula armor.
Yeah, the very
the muscular detailed armor. So kind of like in that vein.
That was cool armor. That movie had amazing art.
It made
direction.
no sense, but it's so good though. Like it doesn't need to make sense. You know what I mean?
No, it was the book.
In the book, they describe his armor as like red.
Oh,
blood.
you mean like the actual armor? I thought you meant the movie.
No, I mean like when he walks in, I'm like that armor makes no sense. I don't give a damn. It looks so cool.
It's just badass armor.
Exactly. But yeah, it's just a werewolf pumpkin. And I just this is pretty much as far as I got concept wise. Like I didn't even think about the legs. I didn't want to think about the back wheel. Like I was actually thinking, I was telling Joe we could make this as a costume. Cause Joe bought a bunch of foam pumpkins. I said this earlier in the stream. He bought a bunch of foam pumpkins because he was gonna do like these bats made out of pumpkins. But when the order showed up, they were tiny pumpkins. And he's like, "This isn't what I ordered."
Did you get them off of Temu or something?
I don't know. I didn't want to go into it.
Dude, I've been fucked by dimensions all the time.
Is it Temu? Which one? Or is it not Lyft? What's the other one? Lyft is a car service.
There's a bunch.
No, but there's one particular Dream. Damn, it's like a one-word website, but it's all cheap China stuff.
Stay out of that part of town. It's the jack-awful wolf.
The jack-awful wolf. But yeah, so he was going to do like bats, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool to make a costume out of this? And I kind of approached it mentally as you go to a store, buy a bunch of foam pumpkins, like the hollow foam pumpkins, and how would you make a costume out of it? Like rather than completely sculpt it from scratch, how would you mix between like craft and then actually sculpting the pieces?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the mindset I went to, which is why I stopped at the waistline. I was like, I would just wear freaking pants. I would be straight up that wolf from the Wolfman from freaking Monster Squad, who's just jeans and then the top is just bursting at the seams.
It'd be funny to see like a werewolf in the 80s. Because it'd be like parachute pants and like dumb shit.
Oh, like specifically 80s attire?
Like you're kind of stuck with the fucking decade that you transform in, I guess.
Oh,
like,
would he have like big 80s hair as a like freaking like not just werewolf hair, but like David Bowie 80s hair? Like he would hate it, but he's stuck with it.
No, like that's one thing that like I feel like with like vampires and werewolves, right? Like they always show them captured in like a cool era.
Yeah.
But there's never like the lame vampire with a mullet, you know? Like
God damn it. This is why I want you to be in the stream, dude. This is why I want you here with me.
Oh yeah. Bobby's talking about my girlfriend just told me about Shein and a friend at work told me about AliExpress.
About what? Shein?
Yeah, they existed before Temu.
Okay.
Temu is just what they are.
Okay.
It's just the latest iteration. But AliExpress has a bunch of cool shit, like bunch of cool geeky shit, and like weird shit. Like I ordered a Necrogoblicon shirt. Like it's like one of my favorite bands.
I didn't show you. I know. Were you in my house when I gave you some of the cups for the coffee maker. But I didn't show you like the stack of like food snacks I've been getting from the freaking Amazon store. I've mentioned this before on the stream a few times. People know about it. Like just like this, I tell my coworkers, dude, I've saved like over $100 on just various products from the store. They're like, what? I go, yeah. You gotta like go find these stores, man. They're like really good.
Yeah, you just gotta beat the shit out of some abuelas to get to.
Not always. People go in there, dude. People go in there and they don't.
You specifically, you have a problem.
Don't try to deny it, Dante. No, I've gone in there and like people just like ignore the big box stuff because they're looking for like they're looking for like household appliances and shit. And I'm like, dude, like this thing's like this box of like freaking I don't know, whatever, name it, whatever, dog treats. Like I bought my mom a bunch of like cat food from there. That's usually like $20 a bag for cat food at like the $2 days because people don't want to carry that heavy stuff out.
Yeah.
I was kind of depressed. Anyway, the one here on Kingsbridge is great, but I was kind of depressed because I went to the one on Fordham, and the one on Fordham, like, it just became a CNC. Like everything, it's all like the exact same stuff over and over again. But the one on Kingsbridge here is still like search at your own risk kind of material.
What? No, I didn't say Negro Goblin.
Wait, what?
What did Bobby type? No, it's not Negro Goblin. It's a Necro. Necrogoblicon with a K. Not Black Goblin.
It's a soft K. It's a soft K. But yeah, have you seen this? It's been going around. Clips do their rounds on like Twitter and Instagram. They just kind of circulate sometimes. It's a clip from the Boondocks where the teacher's being questioned as to why he called Riley the N-word.
Yeah.
And it's just the way he goes. I hear it in my sleep now. And when he says, "My inside voice didn't used to talk like this."
Yeah.
But
I love the frustration he has over the French fry thing. He's like, "Are you gonna give it back?"
Yeah.
Can I borrow a French fry?
But what's funny is that I maybe the clip is circulating because like it's trending again, but there's like a behind the scenes of all the voice actors like reading their lines, and you forget some of these voice actors aren't like known for raunchy stuff.
No.
So they're like the voice actor of the teacher is apparently like I forget the actor's name, but he's known for like usually family friendly or like more chill stuff, and they're like it's like hearing Mr. Rogers read that line.
Yeah.
Like if you know who the actor was, it's like, oh my god.
That's what makes it so good.
Yeah. Well, I think what I love about that show was that Samuel Jackson plays like a rich white, one of the two rich white guys.
Yeah.
Who are trying so hard to be thug. Like you're never too sure if like they're rich and they are thug, or they're just failing at being thug. Like it's just some episodes where they legitimately are like, oh no, these guys are thug. They're just from rich white families. And then there's other ones where like they just avoid the cops because they can. Like you're never too sure what the writers are trying to aim for with those two characters. And then it's just like he's like, he said there's another line the teacher says where he's like, he just goes down the list.
Yeah.
N-word please, N-word that, N-word this. And I love that when he's giving the whole speech in the animation, everyone in the room just looks at him kind of like not insulted or scared, just more like legitimately trying to wrap their heads around. They're like, huh, he's kind of right. He's kind of right about this.
I love the real story that's based off of.
Oh, tell me.
It's like it wasn't as exaggerated, but a teacher said it, and then he's on the news like holding a fucking cue card that says like he was like, I said it with the soft A. And he writes it out and shows it to the camera.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, dude.
Said it with a soft A?
It's just like, please.
Oh, man. Christ.
My boss heard me scream cocksucker today.
I'm not sure what's allowed on Twitch, by the way.
You can say cocksucker.
Okay, good.
Maybe, I don't know.
But don't you drop the N-word on my freaking stream.
I'm not gonna say. I don't say that in life. But it's it's when I jam my thumb.
Oh, then yeah, dude, was like, you said on a door, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, by all means, you could scream that all you want, dude. You kidding me? Hell yeah.
He was like, Peter, what happened? And I was like, I jammed my thumb. He's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
That'll happen to you. That happens here sometimes. Yeah. So I want to show you. I forget if I did it in one of my streams or not. I want to show you, Mr. Orc. This concept I'm doing where it's essentially a beholder, but it's a magic 8-ball.
I think you've shown me that.
I don't know if I did. I did.
We at least discussed the concept.
Huh?
We at least discussed.
Yeah, we discussed it. Yeah, I want to
send a picture of it in text.
Maybe while doing the sculpting I did. So I want to show you what it looks like so far. My only issue with it is that I'm having trouble with I'm making sure that the containers are properly sealed well, because it's a saltwater solution that makes it float. So if they're not sealed just right, the salt builds up on the outside. And these are small cork bottles, not screw top bottles.
Oh.
So I'm struggling with them. Joe suggested a few products. He's like, "Oh, use this product. It'll seal it." I just want to show it to you when I get a chance. But it is coming along well. The sculpture's done. I've already done a few copies of the sculpture. I'm just I've been doing different test variations of the bottles and the colors, and seeing what's the best way to seal it. Because if I can't prevent it, because if it's not leaking, but the salt buildup is showing up. Where if that's happening, that means that air is somehow getting into it. And if there's an air bubble inside, like the dice doesn't shake well. Like I don't mind a small air bubble, but if it's a big air bubble, the dice don't go flat on the underside of the bottle. Because I'm using a bottle instead of like I couldn't find like domes that I liked, so I'm just using a straight up this flat bottom bottle, but it still works.
Bobby said that N-word, necro goblin. Yes, that one.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that as like an SNL skit. We are the Necro Goblins, and like the one black elf goes, "Excuse me? No, Necro Goblin."
No, necromancy. We were goblins that practice necromancy. We are not black.
we are not black. And of course, it has to be a black elf because that alone sets off for some reason half the freaking fantasy community.
Yeah, that was dumb. It's like it's a fantasy race.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you know what's crazy?
Well, I don't know.
Like, so some people got butthurt when they saw like a black dwarf at one point in like one of the TV shows, right? Then they had the black elf, and and mind you, this is not in the D&D movie. The D&D movie people freaking loved, but in the Lord of the Rings one, people lost their mind.
Yeah.
Say what you will about that. So like but no one surprisingly commented on Drow. Like no one used that as an excuse. They just didn't want a black freaking.
Yeah, Drow's always so weird, man. Cause it's like.
Well, they're not even like quote unquote a race and color. It's like they're purple for crying out loud.
Yeah, they're like such a dark purple. But essentially, any white guy that does a Drow, it's like.
Oh yeah, if they just mess with Drow. Yeah.
That's okay.
So, okay, on this topic, before the stream started, I came across this YouTube channel, who I guess their bit is that they look at movies that haven't aged well, topical wise, but every episode's called "This movie aged well," like whatever aged great.
Right.
And I forgot there was a movie about an archaeologist who basically paints him and his family in blackface and records them to fake that he discovered a new tribe.
Oh shit! I think I know it's from the 90s.
Yeah, from the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like something's tribe.
Yeah. It's like Kinkenberg. He has a weird name, like something Berg's tribe.
It's like that.
Yeah, so I completely forgot about this movie until like right before you showed up. I was like, oh my god, this movie. So the plot was like apparently like his wife died. And for the past year, him and his family have not been doing well with it. Like the house is a mess. The kid, he's trying to get the kids. Everyone's trying their best, but they just can't get it together. But it's during this year he was supposed to finish his exploration for a tribe he believed existed. So like, the day before, it's always the day before. The day before he's supposed to give a complete like speech about it, which he forgets about, because he hasn't been dealing with that stuff. Someone shows up at his house who's like overexcited, and she's like, "I'm your biggest fan. I used to be a student of yours. I can't wait to see you tomorrow for your presentation." He goes, "Oh, the presentation." Like if she hadn't showed up, he wouldn't even known. So what he does is he goes to the presentation, and it's a huge presentation because she's such a fan of his that she like pumps it up, and the whole school shows up. So she's like the catalyst of like effing up his life, even though she doesn't know. So he gives a speech about it and shows video that he did take when he went in exploration for it, and claims he did find them, but didn't actually show the video. He just kind of BS'd it, and of course, the lie gets bigger and bigger, especially with this woman who claims that he's great at everything, even though she's completely out the loop. Yeah. Someone's like, "You have to show us a video." She thinks she's helping him, and she's like, "Oh, of course he has the video. It's an amazing video. I saw it myself." And he's like, and his face is like, "Bitch, shut up."
Dude, and if she showed up, I would have been like, "Dude, my wife died. I'm not doing that."
Yeah. But then it all snowballs. They're gonna lose the house. They need to make money. How's he gonna make money? He needs to get money from the school. It's this whole like snowball of things. But it basically rounds up with him being like, "Okay, I'm gonna dress up my two white sons, videotape them in the backyard, mix that with the actual footage I took when I was in Africa, and then present it.
Oh.
And it just, and then but the thing is, the kids in makeup, like, okay, you can't tell, because the idea was that they wear full body makeup. The idea was that they're not just in blackface; they're wearing like tribal makeup. So the two boys, they slide. It's like, okay, you can't really tell. It looks like two kids covered in mud and white makeup, like white and black makeup. But then he gets his daughter. I'm like, no, that's a white girl. That's a teenage white girl wearing brown makeup on her face. like it gets egregious. We just talked about the Dark Elves. He's the Drow.
Like if you cosplay it as like a white guy, like it's kind of.
Unless you go hard purple, like unless you go like straight up hard purple.
Most of them lean into it, the purple, but I mean, anytime I've seen it, it's just been like, that looks weird. That looks like blackface, dude.
Yeah. You know what the thing is? You know what it's like? What's up? Where is it in Oh, it's a winter holiday in like some part of Europe, where it's where Santa Claus actually does come from. Where the original idea of Santa Claus is that he wore a red cardinal attire, and then in America they changed that cardinal attire to the Santa Claus we know now.
Yeah.
It's Norwegian. I don't know. Is it Norwegian? It's some northern part of Europe,
right,
where like Santa Claus, his Santa Claus shows up on a boat down the river, and the elves. This is like old Fey folk, and the elves are black. Like black, like coal black. So it's part of like literal like old Fey, like early European before Christianity rolled in folklore that they still celebrated. So it's not even blackface. Like it's not even part of their culture as being blackface. Right. The people actually dressed in all black makeup because they are the Fey folk who helped Saint Nicholas down the river.
Yeah.
And that evolved into what we know as Santa Claus today. The boat became a sled. The cardinal outfit became the red outfit, and the Fey folk became elf, and the elves became tiny elves. But like it's like when you first look at it, it's like, oh, they're in blackface, and you realize no, they're not in blackface. Yeah. It's like that's their cultural difference. It's like it's like what the freaking KKK stole their outfits from. How that's like a Spaniard look. It's like it has nothing to do with what we associate it with.
Yeah.
What's that video game where the guy has a metal hat like that?
Blasphemous.
Yeah, Blasphemous. Boom. It's a Spaniard outfit. So it's just really interesting seeing like, no, this is what like, it's a completely cultural difference than what America does, you know?
I mean, if I saw them,
like out of context, you're like, oh, is that blackface? Like out of context.
No, I was gonna say like, I'd be like, we gotta get our shit together because the Drow are coming to the surface.
the Drow are appearing, and they have Santa Claus.
Yeah, like it's a bad scene. Like, we gotta get our strongest wizard and our most agile warriors, because Drow on the surface is a bad fucking sign of things to come.
Unless it's what's his name? What's that book? Drizzt?
Yeah, Drizzt Do'Urden.
Drizzt is the only cool one apparently.
Yeah, he's like, well, there's Drizzt and then there's Jarlaxle, who's really fucking interesting. Cause
that sounds so early D&D. Jarlaxle. That sounds like
Jarlaxle's fucking cool as shit.
I'm not saying he's not, but that sounds so like 70s D&D.
Like he shaves his head, which is like, there's a whole thing with like Drow hairstyles, and he's just like, fuck all of you, I'm gonna shave my head.
Okay, if I'm sorry, so the Drow are just black elves then?
What do you mean?
Because it's like they're so proud of their hair.
Dude.
There was a book written about that by a black individual. He wrote a book about the importance of hair in African culture, and is actually seen the book. It's like a beautiful little book about like a father teaching his daughter like the proudness of like, be proud of your hair. Don't let people tell you your hair is ugly. And it's a beautiful book that was so beautiful, Disney's fucking stole it.
Well, the whole point about Drow hair is just that like it's like fucking Jedi. They braid it a certain way and that denotes a certain rank or all kinds of dumb shit. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I might be pulling this out of my ass.
I mean, look at the samurai knots.
But what's cool about every part of gear that everything he wears is enchanted.
Jesus Christ.
Like everything.
Did you ever see the D&D movie?
Yeah, I love it.
I need to watch it, man. I hear it was really good.
It's amazing.
Good news is, thanks to streaming, it's making bank now.
Yeah.
Because in the theaters, it kind of flopped. Not flopped. It did double its amount, but double its amount is not enough in movies.
Yeah.
You know that. Because of the advertising fee and all that. So they doubled the amount. But that was considered a flop. And then I just read that, like, on Netflix, it's, like, one of the higher ranking ones.
Yeah, it's a fucking incredible movie.
I just know the key ones that keep showing on, like, you know, TikTok Vines and stuff. TikTok Vines, you hear me? But the key ones where it's like when they're questioning the undead dude, the joke behind that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's hysterical, man. Because whether or not that's accurate to what happens, it's still such a funny setup. You know that at some point, some DM did that to his people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Johnny Rocket.
Johnny boy?
One of the Borts.
What?
What's up, Johnny? Johnny Rocket.
Why'd you say it like that? Yeah, I'm just dropping the colors to help define, like, all the messy lines I did. To kind of give you an idea what I'm aiming for.
Him and Little Terror stream together, and I've never seen Sterling. Fuck, I've never seen Johnny Rocket do a stream on his own. But they're the Dirty Dwarves.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I was actually made aware of you guys through our mutual friend Red Spectra. I believe it was Red who first mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I met all these fine folks.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure to have you guys, you know? And it's kind of wild because, like, it's like when the everyday folk, like, no one expects to become, like, a celebrity, right? So, if I can embarrass Red just a little bit, he was like, oh, I'm going to check out, you know, the Dirty Dwarves. You should check out their stuff. And then, like, the fact that they, like, here they are. And they kind of follow back and they chat back. Like, it's like, oh, my God. You know, it's not the same as, like, meeting, I don't know, what are you going to say? Nicolas Cage now follows me on Twitter or whatever like that. But it's still an honor to be like, these are people that I like their work. Their work makes me smile. And in my opinion, that is what makes someone important.
Yeah.
Like, your work makes me smile. You may be a big name like Markiplier, or you may be a guy who just streams once in a while. And there's like for me, there's a camaraderie of, like, following each other back and forth, which is why I like following people why I follow artists on, like, Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, the only reason I'm on Twitter is because I use it to follow artists who, you know, abandon other websites for various reasons. There was a huge abandoned, like, exodus from DeviantArt for various reasons, and a lot of those artists are on Twitter now. Now Twitter is, like, not becoming the best, whatever. But it's kind of interesting. It's that fun moment where you're like, oh, Senpai noticed me. Where, like, an artist you follow, an artist of any type, comedy or whatever, follows you back, and it's like, that's nice.
Well, that's why I still use MySpace.
Okay.
I don't use MySpace.
Liar. I love how you walked into that and then you quickly backed out of it. Liar. But you get what I mean. And then, of course, there's the dangerous part of that where people are like, this guy followed me back. Now we're friends. Like, no, you're still not friends unless you actually have a conversation with a dude. You know what I mean? There's a balance in that kind of stuff. Hey, Bobber.
You know, there's just one thing that Johnny Rocket said. It was me, Spectre, and him, and we were shooting the shit before, like, a fucking Call of Duty night was about to start, and we were the first ones that showed up. And he said something so goddamn funny that had me and Spectre, like, fucking, like, laughing to tears.
Oh, I love those moments.
And
you know how much I appreciate those moments with you guys.
But to this day, none of us can remember it.
Oh, man, it sucks.
Like, it was too much for us to hold on to. We couldn't, like, we were given a glimpse of the ethereal. And it was taken from us.
It's like when we had, it's like whenever we sit down and do like the freaking, we play Life on the PlayStation. For those of you who might not know, Orc Punch has the game of Life on a hacked. It's a hacked PlayStation.
Yeah, it's a modded.
It's a modded PS Mini, and it's just we don't play it because the game's fun. We play it because the animation every time you land on a certain spot can be so jarring and weird.
It's like surreal. It's so like I don't even think some of them are jokes.
Yeah, some of them aren't even jokes. It's just like weird statements.
It was like a joke to one guy, and he was like, "It's going in. No one's watching me. Yeah. I'm gonna fucking put it in."
It's like I think one of the things is like, or like if you land on a spot where you might have a child because it's a game of life.
Yeah.
But it's like freaking conjoined twins.
Yeah.
And like there's like 3 different jokes for that one because it's not.
There's probably more than 3. It's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, it's the same image, but it's different jokes.
Yeah.
And it's like, one was like, 2 for 1, lucky you. It's like, excuse me?
Oh, Bobby said MySpace. That's why Orc, you get called a boomer. I'm younger than you. I'm younger than most of you. No, but I'm a fucking boomer.
Do you know how I'm turning this December?
Isn't this
It's the big one. It's the 40.
You gonna do anything?
I mean, I want to, but I have no idea what to do. Because it's a holiday birthday, it's hard to like really do stuff with friends. It's one of those weird things like how big. I know my mom and my sister's gonna go nuts. They're gonna be like, "Oh, we're gonna do a surprise," most likely. I have no idea.
Well, you can only find out if you talk to people
regarding like what they want to do.
Yeah, say like, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing something."
I have no idea what to do. My birthday parties have always been like gatherings like let's go play pool, let's go play like.
Well, you figure it out.
Figure it out. Kind of upsets me now that I realize. I mean, I already knew as a millennial that we were like not the new batch anymore, but we're technically 2 batches behind now. I think. And we go what?
I don't even know what the new ones are called. I don't care to know. I don't want to know. It's like Drake's music.
But they were so I was watching someone say technically, the new batch will be, if you want to go like, by like, Roman numbers or whatever, they'll be called the Alpha batch. And then someone commented, that's so messed up because the batch after that would just be called the Beta batch.
Yeah.
They go, yeah, but by that time, I think that term is gonna be dead.
I don't think so.
We'll see.
Not as long as there's the internet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, like once in a while, I try to remember what the fuck Johnny said, and it just it will never come back.
It will never come back. I hate that feeling, man.
There was one moment though where like we were playing and you can make custom emblems in Call of Duty.
Okay.
And fucking he saw one that was like it was a dick and none of us saw it, and he was just like, guys, there's a dick right there. There's a dick.
Oh, is it? It's like the hit the arrow in the FedEx logo.
No, it was probably a dick.
No, but I mean like in the terms of like your brain doesn't see it until someone points it out.
No, we just never saw it.
Oh, you never saw it?
No, he was the only one that glimpsed it.
Oh, I thought it was like someone being slick, like you have to like look at it sideways.
No.
That's a penis. Like I don't know what that mean. I don't know where that freaking joke is from. Where the guy goes, there's like an, I think if they open up a birthday cake and the old black guy goes, "That's a penis," and it's some meme, but I have no idea like where the origin of it is.
There's so much shit to keep up with and all that, and it's just like I just remember like fuck, I am a boomer. I was gonna say like I just remember like when like YouTube was the Wild West, and you were like, could I see people getting punched or like stealing fast food? Like that was the big one. Like I remember, and it was so tame. Like there was this guy, and Chariots of Fire was playing, and like someone was recording from like across the street, and like it was a Taco Bell, and like this guy's in like a running outfit, like kids, like teenagers, like early teens, and like Chariots of Fire is playing, and he runs and snatches the goddamn Taco Bell, and does a victory lap.
Or like it's like through the drive-through window,
Yeah,
right?
there's a
Yeah. Someone did this long thread on Twitter. It's like, do you know these three guys? You should know these three guys. And it's about the three guys who like made YouTube. And like how they got started, when they made YouTube, why they made it, and like what the hell happened to them. You know, just like all of that. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like these three guys made YouTube, sold to Google. I'm sure Google paid them a lot of money for it, but in the end I'm like, you guys should have just stayed.
Yeah. Well, what was I gonna say to that? Yeah, I think they worked in like porn previously. Not like shooting it and editing it, but they were like developers for like you know, like porn sites, porn websites, and they did like the video.
Oh, like the actual like software and that. Yeah.
Like the video embeds and all that kind of shit. Or I don't know the terms.
Well, basically, I mean, in the end, they have. Well, think about it. I'm gonna assume porn websites get a lot of traffic, so you have to be able to like program that.
Yeah.
So then from there, just go to YouTube, and that's it. What do you think, man? As a general concept, like in the end, I could imagine it having like the big leaves, maybe even some of the flowers you have from pumpkins. Because pumpkins have really distinct like leaf patterns on them.
I think the hair should be more like a pale green.
Okay. Oh yeah. It does have to be.
It looks healthy.
No, it does have to be a pale green. To be honest, even the vines have been pale. Should be pale green. But this is just like, I just put the colors in there that way you can see the difference between all the different patterns. I'd probably add. Let me lock that first. I'm just gonna drop a random layer. So, let's use that dark red for now. I'll probably add more of like the visceral over here, like coming out wherever the pumpkin breaks. Maybe even intertwine some of the actual green with the heavier wood. The heavier brown wood that is. So like more like here, pumpkin seeds hanging over the place. I took some photographs at my job.
Bobby's peacing out.
Bobby, thank you for dropping in, man.
Good night, Bobby.
So I'll probably do something like that. But yeah, it was just like an idea for like if I ever make a costume, for like a costume, for like a big Halloween based costume.
Yeah.
I mentioned it earlier in the stream. Excuse me, jeez. I was updating my crane costume from last year's Comic-Con.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Because I told you I gave one of the arms to Joe.
Yeah.
And dude, I was looking up online stuff going on at Comic-Con and panel wise, because I usually schedule I do all the panel stuff because it's timed. Make a list of panels I want to see, even panels that overlap in case I don't get into one I can get into another.
Yeah.
And then in between that, I walk the floor.
Yeah.
I'm a fast walker. I could walk back and forth through Comic-Con, get that done in 2 days. Just kind of speed running the main floor. Artist Alley is different. But like, so between the panels, I'll check out Artist Alley, I'll check out the main floor, see what's for sale, whatever. But I just don't see many panels this year that like catch my attention, which kind of sucks. But strange enough, there is going to be a Ninja Turtle video game panel.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, awesome. I'm going to definitely like showcase my costume. Like, why not? I'll showcase my costume. And because I have 3 days, the 4-day ticket, I could like get a good view of what I want to do like on a certain day, like visually walk around unobstructed,
Right.
and then another day walk around with the costume. Kind of bounce back and forth.
I'm gonna get some more water.
Go get some water, man.
I'm gonna peruse your snacks.
Give me a second. Actually, gonna hold this up here. I'm gonna go on a pause for a minute, guys. Be back in a second, okay? All right, guys. You know what? We're gonna. How long have I been streaming for anyway? I started like at 8:30. What's the math on that?
I can't do math right now, Dante.
Do math. Anyway, guys, thank you for jumping in. We're actually gonna jump. I'm gonna jump off because I haven't had a chance to spend a good time with my buddy here. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the sketch anyway. Like I said, I had to get this down on paper. I had to get it out of my head. Maybe one day in the future we'll return to this. Maybe I'll even make it. Maybe I'll do a small like statuette of it rather than a full giant costume. Who knows? But yeah. As always, you can check out works in progress of artwork I'm doing over on my Instagram, Twitter for my general ramblings, YouTube. This stuff is all saved permanently on YouTube later on. DeviantArt has some of my more completed work. I need to update that. But as always, you can also check out my official website at theburgosart.com. Have a general gallery as well as a few small portfolios of other things I do, like costumes, toy design, and etc. I think that's it. Once again, I am Dante. You know, I'm having too much fun talking with you, freaking orc, that I forgot like what my outro is. Once again, guys, I am Dante. Like, share, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you